Out of all the towns that make up the Philly suburbs, one that I get the most questions about is Doylestown, Pennsylvania. These are the things that you need to know before making Doylestown your home, so stick till the end so that you don't miss anything, starting with the first pro of living in Doylestown, which is the incredible location. Doylestown is located in Bucks County, which is one of the 4 counties that surround the Philadelphia area and which make up the Philly suburbs. Doylestown is only around an hour to Philadelphia, under 2 hours to New York City, and right around 2 hours to both the Jersey Shore and the Pocono Mountains, which are perfect for those long weekend trips. Besides all of those amazing areas that are a little bit further outside of Doylestown, this town is also very closely located to some very popular suburban towns, which are full of great parks, downtown environments full of shopping and dining, rivers and lakes perfect for water sports, and so much more to do in and around Doylestown we'll talk about later in this video. The second major advantage of living in this town is the incredible downtown area, which is one of the main reasons why this town is so well known. The center of Doylestown, known as Doylestown Borough, is constantly rated as the most walkable downtown area in all of the Philadelphia suburbs. It was also rated one of the best small towns in the country by USA Today. Downtown Doylestown is full of locally owned businesses, from tons of great shopping, restaurants with just about every type of cuisine that you would want, cafes, bars, the local theater, historic tours, and so many more things to do right there in the center of Doylestown. The next major pro of living in this town is the school district, according to niche.com. Central Bucks School District services Doylestown along with the smaller surrounding towns as well. Central Bucks is rated the 3rd best district in Bucks County with an overall A rating and an A for academics, teachers, clubs and activities, sports and food, along with an A+ for college prep and an A- for the administration. Central Bucks School District has an average student to teacher ratio of 16:1, and this district is made up of 23 total schools. There are 15 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, and 3 high schools. The specific school within the district that your kid will end up going to will all depend on which neighborhood and which area within the Doylestown surrounding area that you end up buying your home in. Another great thing that makes this town so popular is how strong of a sense of community the Doylestown and surrounding town residents have. Doylestown Borough, which is the downtown area, and Doylestown Township, which are made up of the outskirts around the downtown area, both do an incredible job of hosting multiple community events throughout the year to keep the residents engaged within each other and the community. Some of these annual community events are so well known and popular that not just Doylestown residents come to the events, but also those that live in the surrounding areas, towns, and counties. Some of the most popular community events throughout the year are, of course, the Doylestown Arts Festival, which is where the borough closes down the streets and a ton of local artists set up tents to display and sell their art. We also have the Bucks County Classic, which is an international professional bike race throughout the streets of downtown Doylestown. This event always has a huge turnout with tens of thousands of people coming into the heart of Doylestown because the bike race and the Arts Fest are on the same weekend. We also have Small Business Weekend, where all of the locally owned shops throughout the downtown Doylestown area set up pop-up shops right on the sidewalk throughout the town, and then hundreds of residents come out to shop and support the local businesses. We also have the annual Doylestown 5K race, along with the holiday parades, the tree lighting, and so many more amazing events keep this town involved in the community. Now for everything to do outside of the downtown Doylestown area. Doylestown is full of parks, with some of the most popular ones being Central Park, which is over 155 acres. It features tennis, basketball courts, soccer fields, walking and biking trails, and it is home to the famous Doylestown playground known as Kids Castle. Doylestown is in the middle of a significant addition to Central Park, with the very highly anticipated rec center being built right there on the land of Central Park. The rec center will be home to a community space for rented parties, an indoor basketball court, a kids play area, and so much more. Doylestown is also home to the very popular park known as Peace Valley Park, which surrounds Lake Galena. If you love history and culture, you will love living in Doylestown because there is so much to explore and learn about Doylestown. There are multiple historic sites sites to visit, including the most popular three, which is Font Hill Castle, Tileworks Museum, and the historic Doylestown Jail, which isn't really there anymore except for the front wall and entryway, which now leads you to the Doylestown Library. This town is full of historic plaques outside of specific properties to teach you and learn more about what specifically happened right there in that home or in that area over the past 100+ years. There are also plaques outside of some of the historical homes where you'll find the original owner and the date the house was built. Another pro of Doylestown that you need to know are the housing options. Since Doylestown has a downtown area, there's just about every style of housing available, everything from a 1-bedroom condo in the heart of Doylestown to a luxury home on acres upon acres of land. Most of the housing is made up of single-family home neighborhoods with a good-sized backyard and only a couple of minute drive to the Doylestown downtown area. If you don't care about the size of the plot of land that your home is on, then you might be more inclined to purchase something in the downtown Doylestown area, which is walkable to all of the incredible shops, restaurants, museums, etc., which we'll talk about a bit later on in the video. Before we get into the cons and overall disadvantages that you might experience when living in Doylestown, let's go over the transportation options. Doylestown is the last stop on the Doylestown Regional Rail line, which will take you from Doylestown into so many other suburbs and eventually will take you into Center City, Philadelphia. Taking the train from Doylestown into Center City is typically around an hour train ride. If you need to get into the city or another local town, the SEPTA bus network might be a better option for you as well. The overall quality and accessibility of healthcare in Doylestown is our last pro that we're going to go over. Doylestown is home to the top-rated Doylestown Hospital and overall Doylestown Health facilities. Very recently, though, it made news that Doylestown Health will be acquired by the University of Pennsylvania campuses, which means that the Doylestown Health facility, which was rated some of the best hospital and healthcare facilities in the entire state, is now being acquired by one of the top-rated healthcare facilities and hospital throughout the entire country, known as the University of Penn Hospital, located in Philadelphia. After hearing all of the incredible things about living in and around the Doylestown area, you might be ready to reach out and start searching for your home. But first, let's go over some of the disadvantages and overall cons of living around this area. The first con that you need to know about is the job market in Doylestown. Unfortunately, Doylestown doesn't really have much of a thriving job market unless you're going to work at one of the locally owned businesses or at the courthouse, which is located right in the heart of Doylestown. If you were hoping for a town where you could live and work right there in the center of town without having to leave town limits, unfortunately, Doylestown might not be the best town for you. Another con of living in Doylestown is the traffic. If you're planning to commute during rush hour, especially through the heart of Doylestown, or if you're planning to come and visit the downtown Doylestown area on the weekend during one of the major events, this town is pretty historic, so we don't have majorly wide streets or 2-lane streets in the center of town, so traffic could be pretty bad sometimes. Of course, if you're moving from the West Coast where you have horrible traffic, or if you're planning on moving to this area from one of the major cities, the traffic that you'll experience around Doylestown is nothing compared to what you're probably used to. This next con that might surprise you is the lack of nightlife. Of course, Doylestown has tons of incredible bars and restaurants, live music venues, etc. in the downtown area. But if you're looking for more of a very vibrant bar or some sort of club, of course, Doylestown does not have anything like that. And honestly, your best bet might be to just go into Center City, Philadelphia, where you can enjoy all of the nightlife that you could imagine. If you want plenty of just laid back bars, restaurants with some live music, of course, the downtown area in Doylestown would be sufficient for the type of nightlife that you're looking for. The next con of living in Doylestown could be the housing prices, but let's dig into that a little bit further. The average sales price of a home in Doylestown is $624,000, but let's keep in mind that that average price point includes both the Doylestown borough area and Doylestown township, so they're averaging those, but they're also averaging every type of different real estate option that Doylestown has. So of course, if you're looking for a townhouse compared to a large luxury home, so depending on what type of real estate you're looking for, that average sales price could definitely be different. Doylestown is sort of broken up into two different parts. We have the downtown Doylestown area, which we talked a little bit about, and that is known as Doylestown borough. We also have Doylestown Township, which is made up of mostly single family and townhome neighborhoods that surround the downtown area. The real estate between the township and the borough can be drastically different. For example, the borough is made up of mostly older historic homes with a nice mix of some new construction houses as well, because as the real estate in the borough turns over, some people decide that they might not want an older home, but instead a new construction home. So they'll knock down the older historic home and rebuild. The classic saying of they don't build them like they used to certainly holds true in downtown Doylestown, because most residents will just renovate the older historic homes because they're built solid, and you can get a nice mix of character in the older homes mixed with the new modern finishes if they are renovated. Houses in the borough don't typically have that large of a lot of land, so if you're looking for plenty of space, privacy, tons of greenery, Doylestown Township might be better for you. If you're not looking for that, the borough might be best because you have the overall location and of course the walkability to just about everything that Doylestown downtown area has to offer. Homes in the township, which is surrounding the Doylestown borough area, are mostly made up of standard townhome and single family home neighborhoods with a pretty decent plot of land, while only being a 5 to 15 minute drive to the heart of Doylestown. If Doylestown seems like the perfect place for you, or if you need help finding your perfect town within the Philadelphia suburbs, I would love to help you find your perfect home. All of my contact information is below. You can click the contact link in the description below, and I will see you over on this next video.